Hello and welcome back for another Penny Dreadful video. Not ready with the Neoform deck yet. I'm not sure if we'll ever be ready. It's a hard card to make work. Instead, I noticed that there wasn't any content out there for this deck. Izzet Affinity, which is probably in the running for best deck of the format, just looking at the results it put up. It's a classic Affinity aggro deck. The mana base is a little wonky whenever I see it. I'm not super convinced by it, but the results don't lie. You have a bunch of artifact lands. You have Mishra's Factory as man land and an artifact land. Ornithopters, Galvanic Blast is your only red spell to just burn your opponents out or kill their creatures. Ginger Brute, very good. Signal Pest, very good. Cranial Plating is an all-star and probably the reason why Affinity is doing so well this season. And Soul Artifact, you can even put on your indestructible land. Master of Ethereum is another big threat. Its Champion as an unkillable threat, and Frogmite as the only actual Affinity card in the list, but it does add to your busted openers. Then over to the sideboard, you have your Torment Script for the graveyard decks, another Welding Jar, Whip Flare versus Aggro, Vandal Blast versus the Mirror, Metallic Rebuke versus Combo, I assume, and then Vidalcan Surtarch. I'm not sure what this is here for, but it does enable you to tap down lands, so maybe that's actually why it's here. But yeah, like I said, this is definitely in the running for best deck of the season, and there doesn't seem to be any content out there for it. So even though I'm not the absolute best Affinity pilot, there's others that are way better than I and have played this deck more than I have. I'm gonna take it through a league and see how it plays. All right, match one, we open on this hand. Our mana base is a little awkward because we have blue spells and red spells. We do have this Springleaf Drum, but can we actually play a creature to enable the Springleaf Drum? I guess we can. We can play a Frogmite on turn 2. And then what happens when we do that? I think this Master is going to be pretty big. We're on the draw. I'll try and keep this, but this could very well be a mulligan. Our opponent mulligans to 5. And they kept on 5. Evolving Wilds. Okay. Another Springleaf Drum. Let's start on a Darksteel Citadel and play our Springleaf Drum. And then we can just pass. The other drum doesn't really do anything for us. We just want to draw another creature. Forest and a Plains. Birds of Paradise. Well, I probably want to kill these birds. A Darksteel Citadel. So let's play the other drum. Now the Frogmite becomes free. And yeah, I think we do. We just want to kill their bird. And then next turn we can ensoul. And maybe we can play a Master. Avacyn's Pilgrim. So they have another dork, but no other land. Ooh. Cranial Plating is another nice one. I think I just want to run out the Master. It's another big creature. And then let's also just run out the Cranial Plating. Next turn we can ensoul and equip the Cranial Plating. And then we should be bashing for quite a lot here. Another Evolving Wild. So they find another land. Okay. It's this deck. So they use this with Genesis to just lock you out of combat and lock you out of playing spells. Do they have a Swamp too? So they're full on Abzan. Do they have the copy of it? Yeah. So we can't play any spells. We cannot attack. So the only thing that we can do is just equip our Frogmite. And we cannot attack, so they do just have 2 cards and nothing else. Duskwatch Recruiter, sure. The downside to these Ensouls is that we cannot bash with our creatures. Yeah. Now here we need to choose between bashing with our creatures or playing these Ensouls. And I think bashing with our creatures is just better. We just want to put the maximum amount of pressure on them. Force them into some chumps. Yep. And they block. And then prevent all damage to Cirrus. Yep. Would be nice if we can draw a black source. Your guy's going to flip, which I think is fine. They just have 1 card in hand, so I'd rather not have them find more cards. Evolving Wilds, Paradise Druid, sure. Another Ensoul Artifact. That's not what we need. Yeah, we just bash. So they can kind of Maze of Ith 1 with the Auras, but they do have to start jumping now. But they have a lot of jumpers, to be fair. It's not really an option for them to take the hits. Yep. And this happens. So they're in the Abyss. And as soon as we draw another creature, then it becomes real scary for them. Ooh, Island. So there are like 5 colors or at least 4, but are they playing like Neoform in their list? That would be the most obvious card to fit into that deck. Ornithopter. I do like that. So let's cast the Ornithopter and then just smash with our creatures again. We could have made another threat with the Ensoul Artifact. And I kind of want to see if they they let us kill them just with the Vault and the Ornithopter making black, and then we can switch over the plating. They don't, so we just eat another guy. Yep, they prevent all the damage, sure. And let's make a blue, tap this, and tap this, make an indestructible 5/5, 6/6 even. Next turn, we can equip to the Ornithopter. I think no need to really wait next turn, we can just do this now. They need to find an answer to the Ornithopter. Then they don't. Alright, that was a decent start. I definitely want Whip Flares against them. I'm not sure how good Ensoul Artifact is, to be honest. Seems like they have enough jumpers just to make this not a great threat. There is an argument for Tormod Script, and maybe not this Welding Jar. I imagine they have like Reclamation Chases and stuff like that, but I don't think we really need Welding Jar all that much. Frogmite, perhaps, but I don't want to go down on too many threats. Taking out these Ensouls is already a lot. Yeah, no, I think I want some number of Ensouls still. Take out Frogmites, those seem worse. We are running a little low on creatures then. Yeah, maybe split it like this. That seems fine. I'm sure there are Affinity pilots out there like Ravager and Honor Bound that are just like, no, don't do this, don't do this. You shouldn't be boarding like this. And I'm very eager to hear and learn from them. So if you see this and you think I'm making mistakes, just call them out in the comments. Well, this hand is definitely a mulligan. We have no lands. This one, yeah, this is kind of why I'm always a little bit on the fence when I see these decks. Like, this hand is great, but I can't actually cast my spells. So I think I have to mulligan the 5. This seems fine. So I will keep. I will put back the Chromatic Star and a land. Probably the island because we have the drum anyway. Evolving Wild. Alright. Ooh, Master is a nice draw. Let's play the... what do I want to play? I think the Signal Pest. Yeah, they fetch. I don't really need to play this Tormod Script just yet. Paradise Druid. Yep, another drum. It's not what we wanted. Let's play the Vault. Then let's play a drum. Let's just play the other drum. Cannot really attack. Fetid Heath. There's Oris. See how fast they can assemble a combo. Birds of Paradise. Cranial Plating is not a bad one. I think we just want to get this Master out there. And I think I will play the Tormod Script now just because it makes it less likely to get locked out. And next turn we can start bashing. Ideally we draw like an Ornithopter or a land just so we can bash and still equip the Cranial Plating to the Signal Pest. An Avacyn's Pilgrim from their side and another Fetid Heath. Another Pilgrim. Whip Flare, pretty good here. No, it's another Tormod Script. That's not what we want. I mean, we can attack with the Master, but it can easily jump it. So what I think I'll do is I'll just play the Plating and then equip it to the Signal Pest and then attack for 8. Oh, I should have played the Tormod Script, of course. It's just an extra damage for free. Could be relevant because we're attacking them for 9 this turn, and then next turn we would be able to attack them for 11 if we had an extra artifact and activate the factory. They do have a blocker, but yeah, that was kind of sloppy. Another bird. They are Matador Flooded. Ooh, that is the perfect draw here. Man, that's good. They can use Oris to prevent some damage, but this is pretty good here. Yep, so their bird becomes unkillable this turn. So we don't have great attacks, but we do clean up a bunch of their mana. Let's just run out of the Tormod Script. We can attack, but their guy's unkillable, so there's no real reason to do that. At least next turn, we can put more pressure on them. 4 mana, Jared's Orders. So they get to search for something to put into their hand and something in their graveyard. We can answer whatever they put in their graveyard with one of the Tormod Scripts. Curious what they put into their hand. Reclamation Sage is one of the cards they search for, and Duskwatch Recruiter. So basically they just paid 4 mana for Reclamation Sage. That is fine. Imagine they're going to be blowing up my Plating or my Pest. Chromatic Star. Chromatic Star doesn't really do all that much for us. I think I'd rather fire up the Factory. It's just extra damage. And it makes it so that they need to block 2 creatures. So only one of their creatures can survive. Yep. I guess they save the Oris. They take 4 and they lose the bird. They go down to 8 and then next turn they can Reclamation Sage to blow up probably the Plating. They're still not in great shape though. Yep. Rec Sage killing the Plating. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the biggest threat for sure. Ornithopter. That's a decent draw actually. Let's just tap our Ornithopter to play a Chromatic Star. The question is, do I want to pop the star now? I think I do. Probably make red mana. Drawing Galvanic Blast here would be pretty good. Another Master. So I can play another Master, or I can bash. I think it's probably worth it to just make a bigger board with this other Master. And there's no reason to attack because they can just block and fog with the Aurus. But then next turn we have 2 giant Masters. See if they have like another Reclamation Sage. No, Chandler Initiative. They are going ham on the mana dorks. Seems like maybe a little bit too much. Absence Pilgrim, Birds, Paradise Druid, Chandler Initiate. It's a lot of mana. It's a lot of bad top decks. Another Ornithopter. Let's cast that. And then just send with the Factory as well. Get in with everything. That's a lot of damage. Battlecry happens. They get to do the math because math is for blockers. And they scoop. Yeah, that seems about right. Pretty good first game. Our opponent didn't do all that much. And we were slower than I would have expected. But we are pretty sturdy. So on to match 2. We're back ready for match 2. This hand doesn't really do anything. So let's mull. This hand doesn't look great either. The blue card is the payoff and we can't cast it, so let's mulligan. And this hand isn't great either, but I think we have to keep now. I will put back a land for sure. I think I want to put back a Vault just because I want to have the red mana and then a Welding Jar. Let's see how this goes. Forest, Birds. Are we playing against the same opponent as last round? It looks like it. I must have retired their league then. Signal Pest and go. And next turn, yeah, Evolving Wilds. Looks like it's the same opponent. Again with the plethora of mana dorks. We're drawn on a mountain. Ginger Brute and Chromatic Star. And let's just slam in there for 2. And then next turn we can play an Etched Champion. Really want to find a Plating or a Master or some sort of payoff, but Plating obviously the best one. They have 5 mana now. Elite Guard Mage. It's annoying. It's a decent blocker. And an Other Pilgrim. Well, we just play our Etched Champion and then play a Frogmite. Cannot really attack, just pass. Okay, they do Neoform here off of the Guard Mage, so I was right when we were playing last round that they do have Neoform. I imagine they get the Hermit. No, Magus of the Future. That is spicy. And they find more lands and a Paradise Druid. And then there's another land. So then they brick off. We want to find a Plating pretty quickly. Another Pilgrim. So they have tons of mana. So this Magus is able to drain quite a lot of card advantage as long as they don't find too many lands on top of the deck. Cranial Plating is the perfect draw here. So we can really start pressuring them now. Equipping the Champion. And I guess we attack with the Signal Pest and the Champion. Yeah. That's an extra damage. So they're pretty much dead next turn because they cannot block the Ginger Brute either. So they do need to do something. Prophet of Crufix. That's a good one. They can cast it, but what is underneath it? A bird. Sure. That doesn't do it. And then there's a land. So that's going to be their first land drop. And then there's a Paradise Druid. They can cast that as well. There's no real payoff just yet. And they are dead next turn. Ooh, Neoform. I imagine Neoform might be able to do it. They can't use it this turn. They don't have the mana, but the Prophet does let them untap. So do they have like a Reclamation Sage main deck to go with this Neoform toolbox? Oh, I guess we'll see. Let's make this guy unblockable. And let's slam in with our creatures. Oh, they scoop. Wow. Oh, wait. They cannot play Neoform with Flash, of course. They could just play creatures off of the Prophet. So yeah, that was good enough. Against them, sideboarding similar to last time. Whip Flares, don't need this Welding Jar, I don't think. Now I know more about their deck, and I don't think I need the Tormod script all that much either. Still want to take out Aeon Soul and a Frogmite. There's an argument for Rebuke perhaps, but I just want to be threat dense. Let's submit. Alright, game 2. This hand, we have a pretty fast and soul artifact, and we have a blast. I think we keep this. It's not great, but it's not bad either. Forest, and they don't have a dork. I think I just want to play my Chromatic Star here. We know they have a ton of dorks, so blasting the first one we see, maybe not the best use of this Galvanic Blast, because they'll probably have another. Channel Initiate, sure. That's Champion. I think we just put the pressure on them right away. Attack with this guy. If they have a Reclamation Sage, they can kill it, but that's fine. We've gotten in 5 damage. Birds of Paradise. Yep. Forest and Rec Sage. Curious what they blow up. They blow up the star, so we're going to draw a card from that. Ornithopter Gingerbrutes. Oh, let's play the Mishra's Factory. Play the Edge Champion. Let's play the Ornithopter. Then just pass. We're looking for a plating now. They still have 4 cards in hand. Our champion doesn't have Metalcraft, so this is the chance they have to kill it. Genesis. It's just a 4/4, that's fine. They decide not to attack. They could have attacked with Sage. We just draw perfect. Cranial Plating. I like it. And then let's equip the champion. Let's play the Frogmite. Well, no, let's play the Gingerbrute. And then play the Frogmite for free. So we're hitting them for 7, and then we can kill them next turn. So that's a pretty fast clock. Cranial Plating is just so busted. And to think that almost Arcbound Ravager also made it in. Cranial Plating Arcbound Ravager would have been insane. What is this? Acidic Slime. Okay, so they can blow up our plating. But we're still fairly close to killing them with this Galvanic Blast. Signal Pest. So what we can do is make this guy blockable effectively. Play a Signal Pest. Smash in for 3. And then next turn we can blast them and attack with 2 basically unblockable creatures. And I have to produce something pretty powerful here. Paradise Druid, not it. And what else do they have? 4 mana. Hostage Taker. Okay, so they can take one of our things hostage. But they cannot cast it as well. So they take our Signal Pest. I think they are just dead then. We might as well Galvanic Blast them now and let them know. If we go to 1, we can make this guy unblockable. And they concede. Alright, beat this deck twice. Hope to see something else in the next round. See you there. Back ready for round 3. And we have this opener. We're on the draw. We have 1 land, but we do have a drum. And we have an Ornithopter. And we have pretty good other cards as well. If we draw any land, we're very good. Otherwise, we still have mana to work with. So I do think I keep this. They melt to 6 and then keep. Mystic Monastery. Okay, interesting. Another plating. Not what we really need, but plating still very powerful. Cast the Ornithopter and then use the Ornithopter to also play a Signal Pest. Opponent can go. Yeah, the Springleaf Drum Ornithopter draws are real nice. Mystic Monastery can be a lot of things. Some sort of combo deck, some control deck. We'll see. Island. Howling Mine. Ooh, Turbofog or something like that. It could be a tricky matchup. I don't know. Hopefully we draw our second land here. We want them to be fogging as quickly as possible, or put as much pressure on them so they need to fog as quickly as possible. If we give them a bunch of time, then it's going to be hard to break through. I do like that we have 4 Galvanic Blasts in our deck. It's pretty good against fogs. We can maybe get in some shots early and then blast them out of the game. Another Cranial Plating is not what we wanted to draw. We want to land here. Okay, perfect. That's a land. Now, the question is, do we want to play the Master or do we want to play an Equip with Plating? If we play an Equip Plating, and we're attacking for 5. I think I want to just play the Master here. We only attack for 1 this turn, but we do start attacking for a lot more next turn. So this puts enough pressure on them. Next turn we have a plating, and the plating is going to smash them for so much damage. Let's see what they do. Plains. Aethersworn Canonist. Yeah, that's not that great versus Affinity. Interesting choice in a Turbofog deck. They silence. So we cannot cast spells this turn. But we do get to smash them for a bunch. And that's what we're going to do. Attack with everything. And I'm going to make this a creature as well. Just to pump the Master of Ethereum. So they take 8 damage. No, they block, but they would have taken 10 even. Okay, they draw an extra card. We just need to get 1 hit in. Okay, this looks like maybe a Wrath. No, Jace Beliran. Yeah, it would be weird if they play Wraths in their Aethersworn Canonist deck. I don't know. So they can silence us again, but then they take a ton of damage. So I like our position. Yep, they scoop. All right. Here, what we want, I think the Surtarks are actually pretty good here. Tapping down their mana. Constraining their mana is pretty good. And we can also tap down their Howling Mines. And then we get to draw the cards, but they don't. Metallic Rebuke seems decent as well. I kind of like Galvanic Blasts just to finish off the game, but maybe that's just not necessary. Or not, maybe not 4. What else can we cut? Maybe a Frogmite. No, Frogmite seems pretty good if your opponent gives you a bunch of cards. I kind of would have liked to have another blue source because we're going up a lot on blue cards, but not on blue sources. Maybe cut one of the blue cards at least. Maybe cut another. I think these install artifacts become worse after sideboard. Some number of welding jar may also be good. I also want to be threat dense. Let's just run it like this first and then see what happens. This hand has Springleaf Drum, has Ornithopter, has an artifact land. I think we can go artifact land, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, Signal Past, Frogmite. That is pretty good. Yeah, I like this hand. This seems very good. Only thing that could make it better was drawing a plating, as with basically any affinity hand. Planes from our opponent. Curious if they're going to silence us right away. Feels like that might be happening. No. Oh, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, make a mana, play Signal Pest, and then play Frogmite. Alright, we have some power on the board. Island, and they scoop right away. Okay. I mean, our board was pretty good for turn 1, but it's nowhere near lethal, so seems like a premature concession, but maybe this is just a nightmare matchup for our opponent. Who knows? On to match 4, 3-0, going well. Match 4, our opponent mulligans to 6. We have this hand, which doesn't look very good, so let's just mulligan it. 1 land and a bunch of 3-drops. This hand seems a little clunky, but good enough. At least we can make blue mana, and we have some decent lands, so let's keep it. Bottom this factory. Plains, and a nice looking one. Dryad Militants. We draw an island. I think I just start with a Mishra's Factory, and then Springleaf Drum. Yeah, I think Springleaf Drum is probably better. Makes it so we can play a 3-drop on turn 2 if we draw an Ornithopter. And this Gingerbrute is not attacking anyway, nor is it blocking. Another Plains. Aethersworn Canonist. Yeah, that's not great against Affinity. Very good against a lot of other decks. Having a hand like this for Storm is just brutal. Attack with a Militant, we take our 2. We didn't draw the Ornithopter to really go nuts. I guess we played a Gingerbrute, and then we don't attack, and then we have the option to animate our Mishra's Factory and pump it. Maybe our opponent falls for it. Let's see. Other thing we could do is just make the Gingerbrute unblockable, but the upside of eating one of their creatures here is pretty high. Yeah, they give us a chance to do so. Obviously, I could have something here, but if this works, it's pretty good. And I think we want to eat the Militant, because the Canonist is going to hurt them more than it's going to hurt us. So I'm fine with the Canonist staying on the board. Yep, pump itself, and then, yep, their guy dies and ours lives. It was a pretty good exchange. Plains, Judge's Familiar. And this deck seems very well set up to beat up on some of the other decks in the format, but against Affinity, it's not all that impressive. So I think here we just play the Master of Ethereum. Or do we play Etched Champion? Etched Champion is actually pretty good here. Just blocks their guys. They can't get in for much. We can make this guy unblockable, but then they get in for free. So I think we want to preserve our life total a little bit. Forest. So they're not just White Weenie. Reclamation Sage. Sure. Curious what they try and kill. They kill the Gingerbrutes. I think that is fine. We just let that happen. And if they attack thinking they can kill our Etched Champion, they're going to be in for a surprise. No, they see it. Because we could have used the Etched Champion with the Springleaf Drum to activate one of the factories. Yep. I'm glad I didn't play the Master. I think what I'll do here is just play another Etched and then play a Frogmite. And do I want to swing? I think I do. They have 2 cards now. We have a Master waiting for them. Field of Ruin. Alright. Can kill one of our factories. Attack with the Familiar. Yep, we take it. Go down to 14. They don't have a play. Play Vault of Whispers and Master. I think what I'll do here is I'll just activate one of the factories and swing in. You can just swing in with everything. If you want to make some double blocks, that's fine. Yeah, they kill the factory. Makes sense. Let's get our mountain. They don't block. Sure, they go down to 9. I'm not going to risk my Master in combat. Splinter. Exile target artifact. Search its control's graveyard hand. Okay, so they get to take all of the Master of Ethereums from my deck. It's not bad. So what is this for? Are they playing like liquid metal coding to try and get people that way? Take out all of their basic lands? It could be tough if they're main decking Splinter. Seems like it could be a very hard matchup. And even exiles, so the regeneration artifact's not good. Evolving Wild is their last card. Feel like we're still doing okay. Yep, they attack for 5. We go down to 9. No, they decide to leave one guy back. Seems wise. So we go down 11, Signal Pest. Let's just fire up this guy, play the Signal Pest. It's fine, they can know what we have. And smash, if they want to block, they can. Yep, they decide to trade with the factory. They go down to 3, and then I think they're just dead. They need to kill us this turn, because they have no real ways to interact with this edge champion, I imagine. Blossoming Sands, that doesn't do it. Yeah, no attacks, and then they're just dead. I'm not going to even bother playing this plating. Just attack with these two, and the game's over. Alright, so against them, an interesting mix of what they were playing. I'm not sure what we're up against exactly. Feel like we might want Whip Flares instead of Galvanic Blasts, just wiping their whole board instead of just some of their creatures. And then Metallic Rebukes for their artifact hate. And they have the Exile spell, so that makes Welding Jar a little awkward, and I don't necessarily want to go up more. Maybe cut some of the Ensouls because they're easy 2-for-1s for them. And I think this is what I want to do. A very confusing deck, to be honest. I have a bunch of Hate Bears and then like a random Splinter. The Splinter makes me feel like they might have Liquid Metal Coating, but who knows. Now this hand is garbage. It doesn't do anything. No, Mole. I think I want to keep this hand just because I don't want to go to 5, but it's not a great one. What do I put back? Put back the Vault. I think I put back the Island just so I can play Gingerbrute, Frogmite, Blossoming Sand. This is one of those hands where Whip Flare could be very good, but it could also be very awkward. Play the Gingerbrute. Start bashing. Forest. Judge's Familiar. Yep. Dry Militant. If you can find a red mana, this Whip Flare is going to be good. We just find another Whip Flare. So let's play the Gingerbrute. And I can do two things. I can play this Vault, so I can play the Frogmite for free, have 1 mana left to make one of the Gingerbrutes unblockable. Or I can play this Mishra's Factory and have an extra manland, and I think I want to do that. I miss out on the point of damage this way, but I think that's fine. If we can find a red source, I like our chances. Field of Ruin. Well, they might Field of Ruin us into our red source. Now that we have 2 Whip Flares, I don't need to be conservative with using it. I can just fire it off. Oh yes, oh yes. Thank you, Lord. Get our mountain. We get a plains. Thraben Inspector. So we get to blow up their whole board. I like it. Like I said, I don't want to be conservative with it. I do want to take care to play around this Judge's Familiar, so I do want to play my land first. Soul Artifact, not great. Whip Flare. We're not attacking for a huge chunk. Yep, we will pay for this. Yes, and gone is their board. Gingerbrute, Frogmite getting in for 4. They're down to 16. And we have another Whip Flare to kill another barrage of creatures. Archon of Absolution. Okay. So now we need to pay extra for our creatures to be able to attack. Let's play the Springleaf Drum. And we can use the drum to equip the Gingerbrute. Go to combat. We need to pay 1 for this Gingerbrute to be able to attack. Yep, we will. And they have the choice of taking 5 or chumping. They take 5. This way we have the Whip Flare for next turn if they play another creature that we want to be able to Whip Flare. Feels like kind of a waste to just Whip Flare away this one guy. Interesting deck from our opponent. I'm not sure what's going on. Rex Sage. Yep. I mean, that was going to happen regardless. So they kill our Gingerbrute. And then we at least get the Whip Flare this away. Attack for 3. They go down to 8. Although, maybe I can still hold off on the Whip Flare. Just pay for this Gingerbrute. And then next turn I can Whip Flare. Feels like we could still do better. Make it unblockable. Just 1 damage. So far they haven't shown us any creature that the Whip Flare wouldn't be able to kill. You draw a card. Harmonic Sliver. Jeez. That is scary. Okay. I think we want to Whip Flare now for sure. They are all in on killing artifacts and enchantments, but they're not really doing so hot for Izzet Affinity regardless. Chromatic Star. Let's just Whip Flare. And then fire up the factory. Get in for 4, putting them down to 6. They have 2 cards left. Hopefully they're not that good. Loxodon Smiter. That is a big boy. Aethersworn Canonist. Let's play this Chromatic Star. You can just use it right away to cycle, make a blue. Cranial Plating. Signal Pest. I think I want to wait on playing this Cranial Plating. If they do have like a Reclamation Sage, I'd rather just save this Cranial Plating and be able to equip it next turn to the Signal Pest and get a hit in that kills them. If I just play it now, they can play a guy, kill it, and then we won't be able to attack with it. This is much safer. Now, if they have a Reclamation Sage, they're likely to want to blow up the Signal Pest. Yeah, they do have a Rec Sage. See what they blow up. Yeah, it is the Signal Pest. So that is unfortunate, but it's still a lot better to get the Signal Pest blown up than to get the plating blown up. Yeah, they attack us for 4. We have some life to work with. Another Frogmite, so let's play that. And they have a ton of artifact removal. Let's just equip the Frogmite. Do I just want to bash here? I don't think I do. I'd rather trade it off for the Smiter. Vryn Wingmare. Flyer is annoying. I guess a Ginger Root would be our best draw here. They don't attack. We draw another Vault of Whispers. Don't need that. Don't really want to attack our guys into theirs. I don't want to play this Vault. Let's just keep it in hand. Say go. Whip Flare would still be pretty amazing here. We've already gone through 2 though. They're tapping a bunch of mana. Hope it's not a Splinter for our plating. It is. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's going to be tough to win this game now, I feel. Still, what a weird deck. So they take away all of our platings, and it makes it safe for them to bash with the Smiter again. Although, what I can do now is just animate this factory, block with a Frogmite and a factory, and then have the factory pump itself. So they can trade their Luxon and Smiter for just our factory, or just our Frogmite. And that's probably a fine trade for us. Well, it looks like they ordered the Frogmite first. I'm happy about that. Yep, trading a Frogmite for a 4/4 seems good. We draw another Vault. We can play 1. We don't have great attacks. They can start getting with their Flyer. Thraben Inspector, that's a redraw. Yeah, another Whip Flare here would be so amazing. Still very puzzled by our opponent's deck. They immediately crack the clue, and they don't swing. Let's play this Ornithopter, and then just pass. Kind of at a stalemate. Blossoming Sands, they gain a life. But our best card is gone. Springleaf Drum, that's not a great draw. And just pass. See who can top deck out of this. Another Blossoming Sands. No attack. Another Factory. Yeah, Factory's good, but it's not amazing. Hope we can get a board that's able to just kill them. They play an Evolving Wilds. After we top deck Whip Flare, that's the best draw, I think. Whip Flare wouldn't be lethal just yet. Ooh, Edge Champion. That is also a very nice one. I forgot about that for a minute. So this is a real clock for them. One they cannot interact with, really. Oh, maybe they have like Fracturing Gust in their deck. They have a Harmonic Sliver, Reclamation Sage, Splinter. Maybe they also run Fracturing Gust. That would be brutal. I don't think I want to attack. You could fire up a factory and then make it a 3/3, but it's fairly easy for them to trade with that. Yeah, they fetch your plains. Another Blossoming Sands. That gives them another turn. Another Springleaf Drum. Not great. Just pay the mana for it. And then attack with the champion. Bam. Down to 7. Yep. Field of Ruin. So they can kill one of her factories again. Makes the factory a little worse. Decide not to use it. They attack now with the Reclamation Sage and the Flyer. I think we just fire up a factory. And I will fire up the other factory as well. And then double block the Rec Sage. So even if they blow up one of our factories with Field of Ruin, we still just eat their Rec Sage. So we pump. If they have like Fracturing Gust here, then we are really screwed. Okay, they kill our land. That's fine. We get an island. And then we pump our other factory as well. Their guy dies. We take 2. Do I want to attack with more here? I still don't think so. I'm fine with them having Aethersworn Canonist out. Don't really want to play any of these cards, really. Although I might as well play the Ornithopter. If they have Fracturing Gust, we've lost anyway. It's not like we're going to rebuild after that. They take their 2, down to 5. So we still need 3 more turns unless we draw something. They play land Judge's Familiar. That is totally fine. We can draw another champion to speed up our clock or a Whip Flare. And they attack with the Vryn Wingmare. We just take it. We're winning the race. And we can start blocking if we want. Ooh, Master. That is a nice draw also. Play this Master. That makes it so we have a lot better attacks. Fire up our factory, and that's good enough. We won this match, even though they were very hateful with main deck Splinter, Reclamation Sages, Harmonic Slivers, and the Archon. But this deck's pretty powerful and ends up being pretty resilient also. We've played against some interesting decks this league. Hopefully we can find a meta deck in our final round. Back for our final round. We're 4-0, and we actually haven't lost a game yet, so let's see if we can get a perfect record with this deck. We're on the play, and we have this hand. We have Ornithopter, an Artifact Land, and a Frogmite. So we can play Ornithopter, Frogmite, we have a Cranial Plating. We can even fire off this Galvanic Blast using the Chromatic Star, so I do think this is a keep. Right, so Vault of Whispers, Chromatic Star, Ornithopter, and go. And next turn we can play Plating and a Frogmite. Nomad Outpost. So they're probably Mardu, which I imagine is not the best matchup. They have a lot of removal, so we really want to try and be pretty fast here. Let's play the Plating and the Frogmite and say go. So next turn we get to attack them for a bunch with this Plating. And if they have like a him here, then they just hit our Galvanic Blast, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. A Mountain, so we're not getting himmed. They actually don't do anything. Play the Mishra's Factory, use the factory equipped to the Ornithopter, and then if they have a removal spell for the Ornithopter, I probably will use the Chromatic Star to make a black mana and maybe re-equip it, just to get in the damage while we can. Yeah, they have a Burst Lightning. The downside to doing this is if they have a him, then they get to him our cards away next turn, but I feel like getting in the extra damage while we can is also somewhat relevant. Okay, we draw an island, and let's just equip to the Frogmite. I guess we should have attacked with the Ornithopter, so we could have attached to the Ornithopter. If they have another burst, it's somewhat awkward. So they're going to take 6. Yep. Now they could have a Vindicate for our Plating. Wars of Signet, so no Vindicate, so we get to hit them at least. We even found a Springleaf Drum, so let's play the drum. Let's fire up the factory, and let's get in for 10. And then we can kill them actually, because we have the Galvanic Blast. So that was a very nice draw from our side. And that's enough. All right, on sideboarding. This is a hard matchup, I imagine. I'm not entirely sure what I should be boarding. I think Welding Jar is probably pretty good here. Soul Artifact is good on the Darksteel Citadel, but a little awkward as it's easy for them to 2-for-1 us that way. Maybe Metallic Rebuke. I don't want to load up on Metallic Rebukes, but I do think I want like 1. Can cut a Galvanic Blast. It's good to finish them off and maybe kill one of their creatures. What else am I taking out though? Maybe a Frogmite and maybe an Soul. I'm honestly not sure about sideboarding. This is what I think I should be doing. But again, if there's any Affinity aficionados that see this and want to weigh on my sideboard decisions, go ahead. I'd be very interested in hearing those. So let's just submit this and see how it goes. This hand, we have a Springleaf Drum, we have an Ornithopter, we have a Welding Jar, and we have the Ensoul Darksteel Citadel draw. So I feel like we should keep this. They mulligan down to 6. It's a little bit of a risky hand because if they kill our drum, then we don't have that much mana. We don't have any colored mana, but against a deck like Mardu, which I think they're on, I'd rather keep a hand with 7 cards. They even go down to 4. Now that I think about it, they might also have like Kataki. So if they do, we might just want to stay on 4 Galvanic Blasts. Temple of Silence. Sure. And they put a card on top. Good for them. Another Ornithopter. So let's go Darksteel Citadel, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter. This is interesting. If I play the other Ornithopter and they him us, then we have nothing left. So I don't think I want to do that. I do feel like I want to play the Welding Jar as well as the Ginger Brute. And then if they do him us, maybe they still discard both of these, but I haven't really lost anything by keeping the Ornithopter in my hand. Attack with the Ginger Brute. So we really want to dodge him here. And if they do him us, we hope they don't him us for everything. They draw a Mountain. Pyroclasm. It's another reason to not have played the Ornithopter. Don't feel like I want to regenerate any of these guys, so this is fine. That happens. Another Ornithopter. So I feel like we just go in and Ensoul, even though we don't get to attack. We want to make this indestructible guy. I could have Vindicate to blow up the Ensoul artifact. Be unfortunate. Plains. Yep, they do. Okay, we're in for a game then. No land, but another Plating. And we just play the Plating. We can play another Thopter here. If they kill one of our guys, then at least we have another one ready to go. Temple. Again, they put on top. Really hope there's not another Vindicate for us. There is. Right, we want to draw land. Ginger Brute. That's not a land. So we have some very mediocre beats going on. Ginger Brute getting in. So it's their top decked Scry versus, and 1 card in hand versus our board and Master of Ethereum. Slagstorm. Yikes. I guess we have to regenerate our Brute. Is because we need the mana also. Right, let's get our master out there. Let's hope their leftover isn't very good. We have a 5/5 creature and a 2/2, but this, I imagine, is good for them. They top deck fairly well. What is this? 3 mana, another Slagstorm, killing our Ginger Brute. Ooh, I think I just play another one. Hopefully they don't have like Day of Judgment. But if they are able to kill this one, then I can't play the other one next turn unless I draw exactly like a blue land. Liliana's Triumph. Okay, sacrifice a creature. So that is a reason to... Well, we would have drawn the blue land, so then I guess it would have been better to wait. Although we do get to hit now. Down to 14. Wouldn't mind drawing like an Edge Champion. Tectonic Giant. At least they have to chump, but the Giant is a pretty good guy. Some more damage with a drum. They take 5 down to 9. Okay, they get to attack us. Exile the top 2 cards. Let's see what they get. Hopefully it's not that good. Temple of Silence, Orzhov Signet. Those are not cards we really care about. But otherwise they would have drawn those cards for the next 2 draw steps. And then I think we would have been able to win. So Tectonic Giant is very good. I've been very impressed with this card out of the Mardu deck. Surprised it never did anything in Standard. I guess it's just not efficient enough for Standard. Mountain, not a great draw, but we will play it. Attack with a Master. They're down to 4 now. So now Galvanic Blast is lethal. Curious if they attack. They probably do, yeah. Like, if they keep it back to block, they're not winning the game. So this makes sense. Oh, they chose to deal us damage? Alright, what do they have then? They must have a removal spell for our Master. Goblin Dark Dwellers. Yeah, not just dead next turn, but pretty close. Yep. We have to sacrifice our creature. So we're looking to top deck Galvanic Blast, of which we boarded out 1. Galvanic Blast would win the game here. I think most other things are not good enough. Another Master. Well, let's play it. But I think we're losing this game. It's unfortunate because our opponent mulled to 5, so... But they just have a pile of removal in their deck. And they do attack with both. What do they exile? Mountain and a Disenchant. That is rough. So they kill our guy. We take 7 down to 4. So now we need exactly Galvanic Blast. Chromatic Star is a redraw. Let's make a red mana. Ooh, another redraw. Let's make a red mana. And a Springleaf Drum. Yep, we are dead. That's unfortunate. So no perfect victory for us, even if we win the next one. Any changes that I want to make? It feels tempting to now board in an extra Galvanic Blast, but I don't know if that's right. I think Metallic Rebuke is still pretty good. We just want to establish an early board and then just bias ourselves that extra turn to deal a bit of extra damage. Let's just run it back. Maybe I should actually board out an extra Frogmite. I just want to find an Edge Champion. Well, there's Edge Champion, but there's also no lands. So now it's our turn to mulligan. Soul Artifact is a little awkward versus them. I do feel like I keep this. I want to bottom of Vault of Whispers. And then we get to hit them for quite a bit of damage quite quickly. Going Vault, Drum, Ornithopter, Signal Pest, and then next turn Ensoul the Ornithopter. They also mulligan. So we go Vault, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, Signal Pest. So we're just dumping our hand. Temple of Silence. At least we get a big hit in for sure. Galvanic Blast. Well, let's just Ensoul our Ornithopter and swing in with these guys for 6. So they are a turn away from being able to vindicate us. Do a Mountain. Hopefully no removal spell for our Ornithopter. We get to get in for another 6. And then we have a Galvanic Blast to deal them another 4. No, they have a Heartless Act. So that takes quite a bit off our clock. Let's see what their follow-up is. Next turn we only get to attack for 3 with the Factory. Drawing an island here, not very good. Just getting with the Factory. We attack for 3. We have to wait and see what they have. They can even kill our guy. Yikes. Yep. I think we found our match. This is not looking great. Did I have a giant here? No. Ooh, Etched Champion. I do like that. It's a way to get back into this game. And it looks like it might be hard for them to kill this. You'd have to kill the Signal Pest and then have like an Edict. So it's definitely doable, but it's a hard to kill threat. And no point in attacking. What do they have for us? Cling to Dust. That's fine. Burst. And do they also have the Edict? Not yet, at least. Mountain. What is this? Vindicate or Vault. So they kill our land and now they can target the Edge Champion. Yup. It's 1 card versus 1 card now. But like last game, I think their top decks are a little better. We have some bad ones. Ginger Brute is fine, but kind of whatever. Graven Cairns. I just don't want to see a giant here. Sign in Blood. Deals them 2 damage, but they do draw an extra card. Play the Signal Pest and slam in with the Brute. They're going out of 10. This Galvanic Blast is live, so we can at least kill a giant if that's what they have. They can Cling to Dust, gain either life or draw an extra card. It's a tense match. Still feel like we're not favorite to win this. Okay, they Cling to Dust, gaining life. I'm not sure if that's correct. Maybe drawing another card is better just to stem the bleeding a little quicker. What is this? Slagstorm, killing all of our guys. Yep. So it's 1 card versus 1 card, but they have a lot more mana. Ornithopter, perfect. I mean, I guess if we draw Plating, Ornithopter becomes a thing. But even then, it's not attacking for another turn because we just don't have the mana to go Plating and equip. We also don't have a Galvanic Blast for 4, so a giant would also be very scary here. Dark Dwellers. Yep. I guess they Vindicate our Springleaf Drum. And that's tough. Don't think I want to fire off this blast though. Oh, they take our island. I'm fine with that. Signal Pest. Our blast is live again. I'm not sure if I want to blast the Dark Dwellers though. I think I'd rather try and race them with this blast. Yep, they attack. That's fine. Also, if they have a giant, I'd much rather kill the giant than the Dark Dwellers. Another drum. Well, let's play it. And attack for 1. What would be good draws here? Well, they have a burst. And they have so much removal. And we weren't able to get in that extra hit with the Insole. That would have been very nice. But now I think we're done. And a giant. At least we can kill the giant. But, I mean, we can Insole our Ornithopter. But what are we really doing then? I guess, actually, I'll just Insole the Springleaf Drum. And then just attack and try and race. It's very unlikely to work. Yeah. Disenchants. I've seen enough. There's no way to get out of this. We're taking 10 next turn, and then we have no will to deal lethal damage. So we get defeated by Mardu, which I think is a horrible matchup for this deck. Unless you're very fast and have the counter or the welding jar at the very right moment. All of their cards have a very good tax box against you, so it's hard to beat that. 4-1, not a bad result. I still think this is one of the better decks. The mana base is a little awkward sometimes, but in other games it just doesn't matter because you have so many powerful cards in your deck. Like Edge Champion, very good, and especially just Cranial Plating is amazing. This one's over, but I'll see you for the next one.